What up? Welcome back. It's Crypto Kong. I'm going to be quickly going over if it's worth it to compound your Icosa yield. Now, this looks really complicated, but I made just a quick spreadsheet to show you the difference where if you were to create more Ethereum accounts and start compounding your yield quicker versus if you wanted to just keep it simple and have one Icosa stake and one ETH account and just let it stake out and then compound it that way. So I'm going to be showing both scenarios here. Make sure you stick around to the end because I'm also going to have a hex price prediction. So um, basically, scenario one is going to be you have 3 ETH accounts. So you're starting with these 3 stakes. So you have 100 Icosa in your first stake. I should probably change these around. It's a little bit too late for that, but you get the idea. So stake 1, stake 2, stake 3, and then this one's 180 days, this one's 90 days, and this one will end at 90 days. Now, if we come over here, this is where the compounding begins. So after you get both of these paid out, what you'll be left with when you want to recompound, you'll still need your same two ETH accounts. So you just recompound that real quick, and then you're going to be left with 300 in each. So after 180 days, you're going to be left with this 1800 plus both of these for both your other ETH accounts, and that's going to total out to about 2400 Icosa. So let's say you wanted to compound this again for another 180 days. You could start with a chunk of change of Icosa, and then you could just do 200, 200, and then 200. So you would basically create 4 ETH accounts total, where you would have a big 180-day stake in the first ETH account. And the second one, you would have a 200 Icosa stake. The third one, 200 Icosa stake. Fourth ETH account, 200 Icosa stake. And then by the end of that, once your 90-day term for these stakes is over, you're going to be left with essentially your 317 Icosa times 3 for each of these stakes. And then you're going to want to recompound that. So the easiest way, without making more accounts, which you could make more accounts, you could make 5 ETH accounts from here, and then you would have enough accounts to like spread this out 200 a piece. But let's say you want to keep it slightly simpler, you could put 500 in your second ETH account, 200 in your third ETH account, and then 200 in your fourth ETH account. And then this is what you'd be left with at the end of your essentially at the end of your year. This one's going to take a little bit longer because it's a 180-day stake. This would be a 180-day stake, which would actually increase your payout. But you would start it essentially 90 days in, so it would take a little bit longer to come all out. Now, I think this would be slightly different now. Yeah, you're going to be looking at a little bit more Icosa for that, but that's fine for now. Now, if we wanted to compare, if you didn't compound anything, you would be left with 2060 for your first stake, and then if you were to recompound that into another 180 days, you would just be left with 3680. So 3680 versus this is probably closer to about 5400 Icosa. We're just going to ballpark it because, again, all of these numbers are like a bit conservative, but they're still approximate, right? Because the yield is determined by hedron burnt, and you don't have a consistent amount of hedron being burnt every day, where like hex inflation is pretty much predetermined, where you could expect around 6 hex per day per T-share. Anyways, basically, if you didn't do any compounding, well, you did less compounding. Let's say you just like staked one big stake, took all your yield, and then restaked it all with your interest, you'd only be left with 3680 Icosa compared to 5400, which will change that here. And you're looking at massive differences. So if you, let's say that the price of Hex, this is where the Hex price prediction is going to come in. Basically, if Hex does a 100,000 X from the bottom, you're going to look at a $5 Hex. $5 Hex is semi-reasonable. That's a 10X from all-time high. That isn't, it's a little bit moon mathy, but it's not outrageous. Now, if Hex only does $2, then that's almost a shitty pump for Hex. If it only does 100X from 2 cents, That would be almost a shitty pump for Hex. Now, we're going to say that the t-shirt rate's around like a 2026 t-shirt rate, so 40,000. You're looking at anywhere from a 150, so 150 to $500 Icosa, or $200 Icosa, or $300 Icosa. So considering that, you're missing out on a huge amount of money, right? So even if we say that Icosa is turns out super bullish, and let's say it hits $250, you're missing out on almost $500,000, basically because you want to be lazy and you don't want to spend the extra gas fees and you don't want to put the extra button clicks and work into the system. You're going to lose $500,000. If Hex basically does weak gains, goes to maybe $3, and the t-shirt rate just does its normal thing. So you could consider this conservative. Again, none of this is actually financial advice. I'm here to just like show the numbers and you decide what you think. But I mean, you don't need to compound. Let's say you'll still make $1 million, but I like the sound of almost 1.4 million instead of under $1 million, right? So yeah, just a quick video showing, is it really worth staking out your Icosa and compounding it every single 90 days? And I guess the answer is up to you. Again, this is only after 1 year. So if you were to do this again, you'd probably be left with 10,000 Icosa. So if you took 10,000 Icosa here, 2.5 million versus this, if you just did the same old yields again, you'd probably be left with around 7,000. So you're looking at huge differences, right? $750,000 difference, right? And this is only if you compound for 2 years. So, I mean, it's honestly up to you guys, but like, again, with the theoretical Icosa prices, if Hex does even a lousy $3, right, you're still looking $250 Icosa. Only a 40,000 t-shirt rate, right? Once the t-shirt rate spikes up, and even if Hex is at $1, you're still gonna see Icosa trading at a crazy high price, right? Crazy high price, and it keeps you staked. So if the price does do some insane appreciation, you are going to see insane appreciation because, first of all, you compounded all your yield and you didn't panic sell, or not panic sell, but you didn't sell on a 2x instead of on a 200x. So look at this, almost $2 million difference just for not compounding if the price reaches $700. So it's up to you guys. But again, remember that the more work you put into the system, the more value you're going to be able to extract. So if you're a beginner and this stuff seems hard, maybe it's not exactly worth compounding if you just want to keep it simple and easy, because you can still compound, right? But just there's going to be people out there compounding every 90 days, and there's versus the people who are only able to compound every 180 days or every 270. So yeah, it's honestly up to you guys. Me personally, I'm going to be compounding all my interest like every 90 days because I missed out on Hex day one, so I'm not going to miss out on the T-share derivative. That only goes up. So thank you guys for watching. That's all for me today.